We were shocked at night by the bombing of a tent next to us. Most of the young men suffered burns to their legs, feet, and bodies.
Where can we go? We are targeted even when we walk down the street. Not only when we're sitting in a safe place. As a refugee sheltering in a school, you're a target. Wherever you are, you're a target.
Hospitals reel under new waves of casualties, and cemeteries, now unsafe to access, have overflowed. Families are now forced to lay their loved ones in vacant plots wherever they can find space.
All of us in Gaza are targeted, whether civilians or military or whoever. Naturally, families are in the house sleeping, staying safe, only to find houses and tents coming down on them. This is not justified for anyone, whether it's the occupation saying we are terrorists or others. We are targeted. This is a brutal enemy that knows no mercy.
There is fresh outrage over a deadly Israeli strike on Gaza's only Catholic church. Israel says it never targets religious sites and regretted any harm to civilians. Pope Leo XIV joins France and other nations to condemn the attack and urging for an end to the endless violence.
Well,
the global outrage against Israeli strikes on Gaza aid seekers is intensifying. Pressure is mounting on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. 29 Western countries have come together. They have a simple and urgent message. The war in Gaza must end now. Israel is pushing into central Gaza's Deir al-Balah. IDF's air and ground assault is forcing yet another mass evacuation of Palestinians who had been previously displaced to the city. With starved Gazans left in the lurch, many do not know where to go. Israel has bombed warehousing and staff accommodation in Gaza belonging to the World Health Organization. Deir al-Balah had been the only city in Gaza that has not yet endured major Israeli ground operations during the more than 21 months of conflict.
We fled at midnight and have been on the streets since. We have no money and we left our belongings behind. This is the fourth time we're being displaced. They claim there are safe areas, but that's not true. They're bombing everywhere.
Amid the forced evacuation, Gazans are battling bullets for food and water. These are the images of the tens of Palestinians in Gaza City queuing up in lines around a soup kitchen. They only hope to fill their pots with a watery tomato soup. The hunger crisis has reached new and astonishing levels of desperation. Gaza health officials have warned of mass deaths in the coming days. The United Nations World Food Programme says a third of the population is not eating for multiple days in a row. Palestinian authorities say at least 132 Gaza aid seekers have been killed in Israeli strikes in the last 72 hours. The United Nations says the toll of aid seekers has crossed 1,000 in less than 2 months.
We haven't eaten in 5 days. We are living under huge injustice. We are living in famine. My brother is a martyr and he left children behind, and I'm an injured man. I can't go and come. Today it was a huge struggle until people pitied us and gave us a bag of flour. We don't have money to use transportation. We don't have food available. We don't have anything to drink. Nothing is available. The famine is killing people. The distance we walk is too far away.
Israeli strikes and supply blockades have plunged Gaza into a severe malnutrition crisis. Starvation-related fatalities are escalating throughout the enclave, particularly among children. Hospitals are struggling with severe shortages of medical supplies. Authorities say 86 people, including 76 children, have died from malnutrition since March.
He has been unconscious for 3 days and can't recognize anyone around him. Yesterday, we gave him a bowl of soup, the only thing available. Today, we can't even get any soup. Nothing is available in the market.
But Israel says it is targeting Hamas operatives and blames the militant group of using civilians as shields. But the global community is not convinced. Even traditional allies are now urging restraint. 29 countries, including the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, and numerous European nations, have denounced what they call the indiscriminate use of force against unarmed aid seekers. They call Israel's aid delivery model dangerous, which fuels instability and deprives Gazans of human dignity.
Reiterated the words from the High Representative. The killing of civilians seeking aid in Gaza is indefensible. Israeli defense forces must stop killing people at distribution points. Indeed, all options remain on the table if Israel doesn't deliver on its pledges. We condemn the renewed loss of lives of Palestinians at distribution centers, as we have seen in the past few days and over the weekend.
As the war enters its 10th month, the cost of inaction is becoming unbearable, not just for the people of Gaza, but for Israel's standing on the world stage, with pressure building from friends and foes alike. The question now is, how much longer can this war go on?
Babies and infants in Gaza are dying from starvation. UN body says at least 1,000 aid seekers have been killed by Israeli forces since May while trying to get food in the Gaza Strip. Those seeking aid are facing the stark reality of endangering their lives. Hundreds are chanting "Stop Starving Gaza" slogans and accusing Israel of using starvation as a tool in warfare.
And I'm here because human beings are being purposefully starved in Gaza. And it's our government that's complicit in it. Everyone is complicit in it. And we've got to stop it. This is just, it's the most inhumane situation to be in. And we could stop it immediately. And no one's doing it.
Administration continues to send billions of our tax dollars to Israel to purchase military equipment and continue this genocide. Stop starving Gaza now! Stop starving Gaza now!
Israeli strikes have buried Gaza under millions of tons of debris and has plunged it into darkness. This as Israel is reviewing a revised response from Hamas to a proposed ceasefire and hostage release deal. The hunger crisis is worsening in Gaza with every day passing. These are the image of Gazans carrying sacks of flour after crowds seize flour trucks in Khan Younis. The struggle to get flour and water remains to be the biggest challenge. People have to walk miles for food and water.
We encountered death to bring it. Look at our faces. This is the livelihood of our children. We shall feed our children even if we die. Even if we die, we shall feed our children.
Today is day 14 without any flour. Thank God. My dear son, I'm coming to you now, bringing flour with me. I swear I bid farewell to my son before setting out, and by God's grace, he has provided for me for the sake of my children.
Palestinians are scrambling for food at a soup kitchen in Gaza City. The latest starvation deaths bring the death toll from malnutrition since Israel's war began in October of 2023 to 113, most of them in recent weeks. The Palestinian health authorities say at least 56 Palestinians, including 10 aid seekers, have been killed in Israeli fire in the last 24 hours.
Isn't it shameful? We are starving enough and enough. I came to get breakfast for my children. I want breakfast for my children. 22 people and wounded people for me to take care of, in addition to those who are orphaned. Enough orphans, enough what happened to us.
Majority of children have died due to starvation. The World Health Organization says 21 children under the age of 5 are among those who died of malnutrition so far this year. Israel, which cut off all supplies to Gaza from the start of March and reopened it with new restrictions in May, says that it is committed to allowing in aid but must control it to prevent it from being delivered by Hamas militants. It says it has let in enough food for Gaza's 2.2 million people over the course of the war and blames the United Nations for being slow to deliver it. The UN, on the other hand, says that it's operating as effectively as possible under conditions imposed by Israel.
Israel believes in humanitarian work. We are committed to helping civilians, to protecting innocents, and to ensuring aid reaches those who need it. But we will not work with organizations that have chosen politics over principles.
The fact Netanyahu and his government are actively pursuing transforming Gaza into a land without a people through genocide and ethnic cleansing under the unconvincing disguise of voluntary migration has only been made possible by the impunity they enjoy.
Pressure is mounting for a breakthrough to end the Gaza war that has triggered a humanitarian crisis. In the latest, the EU has threatened consequences if Gaza aid doesn't improve. Hamas says it has responded to an Israeli proposal for a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza. This as mediators have been shuttling between Israeli and Hamas negotiators in Qatar for more than 2 weeks. But the indirect talks have so far failed to yield an elusive truce.
Now, the Israel Defense Forces are facing mounting international pressure amid allegations of exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
Gaza is where rampant starvation, severe food shortages and rising deaths have prompted the United Nations to sound the alarm. In a bid to dismiss their role in starvation, in a post on social media, the IDF spokesperson released a video claiming that 950 trucks worth of aid are waiting in Gaza for international organizations to pick up and distribute to civilians. It claimed that Israel facilitated the aid entry.
According to the Palestine Red Crescent Society, almost 101 people died because of starvation, including 80 children. In a heartbreaking case, a 6-week-old Palestinian infant boy died at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis due to malnutrition. His family said they were unable to feed him or provide him infant formula or diapers.
Children are dying from malnutrition. Infants as young as 1 or 2 months old are dying from malnutrition. The crossings are closed and there is no access to medicine, treatment, or food. My son's condition reflects the suffering of the people of Gaza.
Palestinians in Gaza gathered along the Rashid Coastal Road, hoping to receive food from trucks possibly entering through the Zikim crossing. Instead, many returned empty-handed or didn't return at all.
You, the negotiator sitting in Qatar and Turkey, what are you negotiating about? People are dying in Gaza. We have no one left in Gaza. We are all dead. We go to die to bring food, and you sit in your chair, eating in Qatar.
With aid stocks having depleted, the Norwegian Refugee Council has slammed Israel for paralyzing their work. They claim their staff members are starving after 145 days of blocked deliveries, including food, water and sanitation supplies.
Our last food parcel, our last relief items have been distributed. There is nothing left. There is nothing left. It's now 145 days without any supplies. And of course, there's hundreds of truckloads just for my organizations waiting to get in. That's why we are so angry, because our job is to help women, children, the innocent survive.
In occupied West Bank's Jenin, several women took out a rally demanding an end to Gaza's starvation crisis.
In Tel Aviv, protesters took to the streets carrying flour and bags of flowers and pictures of malnourished children from Gaza, calling for the end of the war in Gaza and for an end to the hunger.
We came here today, both Jewish and Palestinian citizens of Israel, to protest against the dire humanitarian catastrophe in the Gaza Strip and against our government's policy of starvation.
Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has released a video that it says shows attacks on WHO facilities in the Gazan city of Deir al-Balah, who said the WHO said that the Israeli military attacked its staff residence and main warehouse in Deir al-Balah, compromising its operations in Gaza.
The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has reached catastrophic levels, with the 21-month-old war showing extremely dim signs of ending soon. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 25 Palestinians have died from starvation, and that's in the last 48 hours. These deaths bring the total number of people who have died from malnutrition since the outbreak of the war to 111. Aid organizations and UN officials now warn of an accelerating famine as access to food, water and medicine remains scarce for millions inside the war-torn territory. The United Nations has described the conditions in Gaza as unmatched, with a level of death and destruction without parallel in recent times. The head of the UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency, Philippe Lazzarini, called the situation in Gaza, and I'm quoting here, hell on earth. Palestinian health officials say that children make up the vast majority of the starvation-related deaths. Of the 111 people who have died so far from hunger, at least 80 were children. And most of these deaths have occurred in the past few weeks.
Children are dying from malnutrition. Infants as young as 1 or 2 months old are dying from malnutrition. The crossings are closed and there is no access to medicine, treatment or food. My son's condition reflects the suffering of people of Gaza.
May Allah have mercy on him. He died of malnutrition. We couldn't provide food for him and his older siblings. We couldn't provide milk. He was discharged from the hospital even though he hadn't recovered.
Across Gaza, desperate families are scrambling for food. Along the Rashid coastal road, hundreds gathered hoping to receive food from passing trucks. But for many, those hopes were crushed as they returned home empty-handed, while some did not return at all. Explosions continue to light up the skies across Gaza, sending smoke plumes over the densely populated strip. As Israeli military offensive intensifies amid the bombing, displaced Palestinians said that they have no choice but to risk their lives in the search for food and water.
My husband is traveling for treatment and I have 5 children. We are dying of hunger. There is no food. My children haven't eaten flour for a month, so I had to go out and bring it. There is shooting and death, but I have to come because my children are hungry.
The United Nations now estimates that tens of thousands of women and children need emergency nutrition treatment. Humanitarian access remains heavily restricted, food supplies are dwindling, and even basic requirements are now unaffordable. The UN's World Food Programme warned earlier this month that the cost of wheat in Gaza has skyrocketed to 3,000 times its pre-war price. Its emergencies director warned that up to a quarter of Gaza's population, around 500,000 people, are now living in famine-like conditions. A statement signed by over 110 humanitarian organizations, including Mercy Corps, the Norwegian Refugee Council and Refugees International, warns of mass starvation spreading across Gaza. They allege that tons of food, clean water and medical supplies are sitting idle just outside Gaza's borders, blocked from reaching those in need. The situation in Gaza today is drawing demonstrations globally as well.
By trying to make Palestine a land, the land that is...
In New York's Union Square, demonstrators gathered demanding an end to what they called deliberate starvation tactics. They carried placards, chanted, "Stop starving Gaza now," and criticized the U.S. government's support for Israel's military campaign. While in Tel Aviv, demonstrators also rallied against the blockade, holding sacks of wheat and images of malnourished Palestinian children. The march, led by Jewish and Palestinian citizens of Israel, called on their government to lift the siege and allow humanitarian aid to flow freely. Meanwhile, in Jenin, in the occupied West Bank, Palestinian women took out a rally demanding an end to Gaza's starvation crisis. And amidst the mounting global pressure, demonstrators in Lebanon's Beirut also demonstrated against the growing hunger crisis in Gaza. The Israeli military released a video on social media claiming that 950, that's the total number of trucks of aid, are waiting in Gaza for international organizations to pick up and distribute it to the civilians. The Israeli government has blamed Hamas for the situation as of now in Gaza.
In Gaza today, there is no famine caused by Israel. There is, however, a man-made shortage engineered by Hamas. Now, too often, the full story is not being told. This suffering exists because Hamas has created it. The suffering exists because Hamas has made it so.
As the death toll from malnutrition climbs and food insecurity worsens in Gaza, any light at the end of this dark tunnel is extremely dim. A solution remains distant as of now in Gaza. Welcome back. Thanks very much for staying with us. You are watching Beyond World is One with me, Raisha Sehgal. Lots land for you on the show. Let's get you started with the headlines. Israel continues bombardment in Gaza even as 109 aid groups warn of mass starvation. Death toll from hunger reaches 111, with 10 succumbing to starvation in the last 24 hours. Gujarat anti-terror squad in India arrests 4 men allegedly associated with the group Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent Akis from Uttar Pradesh, the four are accused of recruiting people and expanding the group through social media. India to restart issuing tourist visas to Chinese citizens from tomorrow. The move coming after several years in another signal of a thaw in times. Indian embassy in Ireland assures it is in touch with the victim of the alleged racist attack and his family and is offering all assistance. Calls for the perpetrators to be brought to justice. Body cam footage showing police officers in Florida assaulting a black man during a traffic stop goes viral online. Civil rights advocates and the group Black Lives Matter say brazen police brutality was on stark display. Inflation in South Africa hits a 4-month high in June. Rising inflation is complicating interest rate cycles across Africa.
Killed by relentless Israeli strikes, gunfire at aid facilities and now starvation engineered by blocking aid. These are the circumstances that more than 2 million Palestinians in Gaza are grappling with. As the world watches the horror unfold minute by minute and calls grow to end the crisis, the Israeli onslaught continues. Our next report sheds light on Gaza's induced hunger crisis.
Die waiting or die trying. This is the choice forced upon starved Palestinians in Gaza. Mass hunger has now reached glaring levels. Civilians, particularly children, are now dying with no access to food for days in a row.
We received today a baby, Youssef Al-Safadi, who is 40 days old. He was diagnosed with malnutrition at Patient Friends Association Hospital. The reason of death was he had physical symptoms of severe dehydration and hunger. These cases have increased in the past days.
For the people still alive, their appearance is changing. Bones protruding, cheeks sinking in, feeble legs that cannot walk anymore. Many are now surviving on salt water alone.
My children wake up sick every day. One of them is sick every other day. What do? I go get a saline solution for them. There is no food, no bread, no food, no drinks, no rice, no sugar, no cooking oil, no bulgur, nothing. There is no kind of any food available to us at all.
Braving their weakened state, thousands of Palestinians reached aid sites in hope for finding some food. But in many recent instances, the hungry and deprived were met with gunfire from Israeli forces. More than 100 aid groups and human rights organizations have warned of mass starvation spreading in Gaza. Doctors, aid workers, and even media organizations have raised an alarm over changing appearances of their colleagues in the besieged enclave.
Last food parcel or